Hey, hopefully y'all are all doing great. It's going to be another fantastic week this week. And to start us off, we're going to continue talking about the legislative branch. I know you're so excited, but today I'm going to take a break from the actual branch. Hopefully y'all have looked at the PowerPoint. It just gives you the people who are located within the branch, a little more detail about them. However, I feel like that's some pretty basic info. But something that isn't as basic is how a bill becomes a law in the state of Georgia. Now, it is very, very similar to the same way that a bill becomes a law within the United States. But I'm going to go over it just to make sure. To help me out, you'll know I love charts. I will take a picture and put it on there for you, post it. So this is your process for making a law in Georgia. It's getting a bill passed. So first things first, to make a law, you have got to write a bill. Usually to write a bill, the first step is a legislator is going to introduce an idea for a law. So maybe, like when y'all are in my classroom, maybe I wanted to create a new rule. We're going to pretend that rule is a law. Maybe the law was no Jolly Ranchers Monday through Thursday, only on Fridays. I don't know. But I come up with the idea, and then I have to start working through it. So my first thing I got to do is make sure this is legal. Is this going to be something that's going to break the law? I got to go talk to someone who's a lawyer. Why do I need to talk to them? Because as much as I might want to say that I know everything, I don't. So I need some help, and a lawyer will be the perfect person to go to. You're going to look for counsel. Once you've done that, you're going to move on to step 3. And you've got to file the bill. Just like with anything else, you can't just make it happen. You got to file it so it can be looked at. You're going to file it with the clerk of the House if you are in the House of Representatives. If you are a member of the Senate, you're going to file it with the Secretary of the Senate. From here, you're going to have to wait a hot second, and you're going to move on to step 4, which is formally introducing the bill. So if you're in the House, you will talk to everyone who's in the House. If you're in the Senate, you're going to talk to everyone who's in the Senate, and you have got to introduce it. You've got to kind of make an argument for your bill. It's called the first reading because, yes, you do read the bill, and you're going to explain it to them, what this bill is, what it's about. So if I was trying to get this passed in my classroom, I might say, here's the bill, and I'll read you the document, and I'll explain why it's necessary, try to kind of convince you, make sure y'all know that it's a good idea, and it's for the best. Okay, moving on to 5. Step 5 is you're going to have to get this assigned to a standing committee. If you remember from the last part of the standard, a standing committee is literally just a permanent committee. That means every time the legislative branch has to meet, this standing committee will also meet because that's just part of their job. Remember, they have to be on some type of committee, usually at least. And when you're on that committee, you'll just meet, and one of the things you do is look at laws that are trying to be created. So the bill gets assigned to a committee. There are a bunch of different committees, so not everyone will see it. So kind of like when you're in my room and you're sitting in your groups of desk, I might assign just one table to look at this, not everyone, okay? So moving on is going to be the second reading of the bill. Y'all looked at it as a committee. Y'all are like, okay, this is pretty legit. So I'm going to read it again. Everyone hears it. Some more thoughts, some more comments. I get some feedback. I have time to edit, make some changes, okay? And then you're going to go to step 7. The bill is going to be considered by the committee. The committee will look at it. Y'all are going to make your final decisions on what y'all want to do with it. Do y'all want to keep pushing it to the House, or do you want to keep pushing it to the Senate? Whatever we're going to do. And from there, they're going to start doing some calendar work. That's going to be their steps 8 through 11. So yeah, it's a lot of steps to get this put on the calendar. You don't need to know all of them. Just know they're trying to put it on a calendar. That's it. That's simple. Okay? Then the thing that's going to come next is going to be down here. Way down here, step 12. Yeah, remember I just skipped a bunch. Step 12 is going to be the third reading of the bill. Now, when it is read for the third time, it's going to be up for debate and voting. People in the House or in the Senate are going to say, this is right, this is wrong. They're going to have a conversation and debate about it, and then they will vote. Now, this is not meaning the general public votes. It is just the legislative branch and not the full branch. If you are in the House, only the House is going to be voting. If you're in the Senate, only the Senate will be voting, okay? But if it gets passed, it gets voted in, they don't kill it, which means they get rid of it. If it gets passed, then it's now got to move on to the next step, which is going to be step 13. They're going to move it to the other House or to the Senate. So if you originally got it passed in the Senate, you can't just pass it only in the Senate. You've got to take it over to the House now, and they have to approve it. They're going to have to do all this with them, take a vote on it, same thing. And if you're in the House trying to get approved by the Senate, same thing, go through the steps, get it approved. Once both parts of the legislative branch, the House of Representatives and the Senate, approve it, then it can move to step 14 and move to the governor. And then the governor will look at the bill. And this is where your series of checks and balances come in. Is this legit? The governor can then either veto it or go ahead and pass it to where it will then move on to the judicial branch by the Supreme Court looking at it. So it's the very bottom step when you actually make it to the checks and balances. Okay, so hopefully this will help. I'll take a picture of it, post it for you. Hopefully you'll have a wonderful day. Let me know if y'all need anything else.